Welcome back to Voices in Health and Wellness. This is the show where we speak with frontline leaders, reshaping how care, wellbeing, and business intersect in a modern healthcare landscape. Today's guest is someone I've been excited to bring on, not just for his clinical expertise, but for his thoughtful approach to the challenges of leadership, lifestyle, and scaling care in a way that actually supports the practitioner, not just the patient. Dr. Mark Carter is the founder of Modern Body Clinic, a progressive medical aesthetics and wellness practice that blends clinical precision with a deep respect for work-life balance and patient experience. With a background in medicine and a sharp eye for operational sustainability, Mark has carved out a space that many in this industry admire, not just for the results his clinic delivers, but for the culture and clarity he brings to it. So Mark, welcome. Thank you very much for coming on the show.
Yeah, thank you. That was a great intro.
You're very welcome. And where are you calling from on this call today?
Phoenix.
Phoenix, Arizona. Wonderful. So maybe we can kick off talking a little bit about your role. Could you share a little bit about what you do at the Modern Body Clinic and how it all got started?
Oh, wow. So the first part is what do we do? So the way I look at it is that really we are looking to transform people. And so there's a version of themselves that they want to improve or get to a different level. So that's what I think we really do is transformation. And so whether that's around weight loss or aesthetics, we'll take the route that's going to get them there. How did we start? So, it's several years now, and really I was looking to do something different, and I wanted to have my own clinic, and weight loss was something I was interested in, and that's really how we started. We started with doing weight loss. Then we did some body contouring. It was just a natural fit. And from there, we just started doing other services. People started asking for other things. And, that's where we are now.
Amazing. So what does a typical day look like for you right now? I imagine it's just a mixture of clinical, operational, and leadership work, but I'd be really interested to hear how it plays out for you.
Yeah, I don't know if there's a typical day. I can give like a full day is, depends when I start. I generally like to work out before I go in. Just then I know that I have it in. And then the day around 10 o'clock I'll just start seeing patients, and it's various. So it might be weight loss, maybe it's Botox. I see some people with fatigue or energy issues. So it's really a mix of different types of people I see. Generally, early afternoon, I'll do some type of administrative work, whether that's meeting with the staff or doing a one-on-one, and all the other fun administrative stuff that we get to do. So, some governmental issues or, that type of paperwork, chasing down results. So can't escape that. But those are things that I would do kind of early afternoon, mid-afternoon. And then I may go back to seeing patients again. Generally, I end like 5 or 6 o'clock.
Okay, interesting. So what proportion of your time overall do you think you spend clinical versus managerial, operational? What's your kind of split?
I would say probably 80-20. It's probably 20% administrative.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Thank you. And you've been in the space long enough to see some pretty big shifts. What changes are you seeing in aesthetics and the wellness space over the last couple of years or so?
So probably the biggest thing is people, they want the result to be more natural. That's like, I would say the overarching one. They don't want to look like it's been done, or they don't want it to be, even if they have surgery, they don't want it to be an obvious change. And definitely people care about being safe. They care about side effects more, I think, than before. Definitely get more questions around like, what's the risk? Like, how likely is that to happen? And those are like the two biggest things I've seen.
And with those sort of expectations, how have you had to change what you do to kind of meet those expectations around sort of safety, the natural approach?
So probably the big, yeah, and that's a good point. Is definitely the expectation matters, and so I try to give them something realistic, especially on the aesthetics that we are we're not going to have a surgery result. Like it's gonna it's gonna be better than where we are now, but it's not going to be a surgical result. And I definitely speak on what's the risk. So I don't want people to be surprised if they're that 1% person that has something happen. And also, like, what can we do about it? So I will bring that up too. Is like, if this happens, what can we do about it? And they use that to make the decision too, which I didn't see that before. Is more about the outcome. Now it's more like, okay, if this happens, is it permanent? Is it irreversible? That definitely comes up more now.
Interesting. And what about the sort of whole psychological safety of these patients that are coming in? I guess there must be some with psychological issues around appearance. How do you kind of handle all of that in your clinic setup?
Uh, so it's really around what expectations. You asked, it's do they have a realistic expectation? And so when we're doing weight loss, that's not as much of an issue. I think aesthetics is more that we have to be clear on like what we can do and like what the result will be. Um, Both of those groups of people, there are some psychological things that do go with it, and so we have to address it. And if there's something underlying that's the real issue, then whatever we do, it's not going to matter unless we really address what's driving it. So yeah, we definitely have to pay attention. Sometimes I have to refer people. I think I'll tell someone, I think you should see this person before we do anything, because whatever we do, I don't think you're going to be happy. Like it's whatever we do, it's not going to matter. We need to address what's going on inside first.
Interesting. And on that note, I mean, are patients generally more demanding? I mean, I'm not using that in a derogatory way, but I'm just wondering, as the years have gone by and you've had experience in this space, I just wonder whether people are more demanding for whatever reason in terms of what they're expecting and what the outcomes might be.
I don't know if I would say more demanding. I think more they know what they want, and with that, though, I do feel like people are more appreciative. Because I think before it would be less like, there'd be less appreciation. But yeah, there's a little more people know what they want. They become more studied. They've done more homework before I actually see them. They're asking better questions. So like they're more prepared.
Got it. Have you noticed anything around the pandemic in terms of any sort of lasting impact from the pandemic in terms of how the clinic is run or how patients engage with services? It was a big blip for most of us in any space, but I just wondered how it's affected the health and wellness space that you operate in.
Probably, if I say lasting, probably the biggest thing is televisits. So people are more open to doing that. So it's something that we didn't really do before, and like now it's part of what we do. That's probably the biggest thing for us, and and this may have been related by just them being more prepared, doing more research, and being more concerned about safety.
I mean, with the televisits, obviously there's certain treatments you can't do remotely. So is that more about the initial consults or the follow-ups? I mean, how do you factor that into the in-person versus remote mix?
Yeah, so if it's aesthetics related, then yeah, I kind of have to like see you at, even if we're on screen, I can make some determination, but I still have to see in real life to say this is the final recommendation. I see it more in weight loss or some wellness service that we can do it, a telehealth visit before they even come in, or they may not need to come in. We can just do it through video.
I understand. I think there's a general interest in wellness and longevity in society. Is that shaping how you think about the services that you provide?
Yeah, we do pay attention to, what the trends are and like what people want. Certainly paying attention to what people are asking for. And if there's a gap, like we can't provide it, then okay, let's look at that deeper and see, is it in line with what we're trying to do here? Is aligned with our values? And yeah, we certainly have incorporated stuff that we weren't doing 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Are there any particular trends that you've got your eye on at the moment, and either because they excite you or because they may raise concerns? Is there anything you're thinking about bringing online for patients?
There is one, actually there's several that I kind of think about. One is men's health in this space. So it's, depending who you ask, is 85% women in regards to aesthetics. So we're looking at growing that. Men are becoming more interested in getting aesthetic treatments. Mental health is something that's growing. So that's something that we're looking at, and particularly it's underserved, but also it goes with what we're treating. I mentioned before that we definitely care about the psychology, because maybe that's more the issue than whatever we might be treating. Mm-hmm. And then, so I mean, those are kind of the two main ones that I would say we're looking at. There's some other minor ones around technology or innovation. So I will say we're actually looking at doing more regenerative medicine. So so I do some of that, and it's kind of, if it comes up, we don't really have it as a menu offer, but if it comes up, yeah, that's something we can do as well, and that seems to be growing as well.
Interesting. What's working well for you operationally right now in the clinic? Obviously, every clinic has its rhythm, but I'm just trying to get a sense of what you're really focused on because it's working and you're really happy with.
Yeah. I think communication is important. So we do have a weekly meeting, and so that's good in the regards that it helps us stay on track. Nothing goes undone too long, as well as like everybody knows where we're at. We're all on the same page. I worked in different settings where maybe they meet once a month or quarterly, or I had one place I worked, they never met. And because, they had their reasons, I was like, well, how can we all be on the same page if, we don't know what's going on or what's coming? So I feel like the meetings are super helpful, and, we can get feedback. I get to see like what's really going on, because, I'm not there every day, all day. Mm-hmm. And so I can get feedback on like what's going on here, why is this not working, or why is this working? Okay, we need to do more of that. So that's probably been like the most helpful thing.
Sounds very productive. Tell us a little about your sort of staffing that you have at the clinic, just to give us a sense of the operation that you have there.
Yeah. So it's me. We have an MA, and then we have two laser technicians, estheticians. So they can do laser treatments as well as aesthetic procedures like microneedling and those type of things. And then we have a practice administrator.
Okay. And we were asking about what's going well and what you're happy with. Is there anything that's frustrating or more challenging in your operation?
Where do I start? For me, it's going to be around like administrative, like regulatory stuff that we have to comply with. Mm-hmm. I don't like that. If I would say what's not working or what I think we can improve on, it's probably the consultations. So as providers, we're not really trained like how to do sales and this type of setting, and it's almost kind of like a hurdle, because we're trained to take care of the person in front of us, and now we are making recommendations, and there's finances involved, and so you kind of think about that in the back of your head, like, can they afford it? When, okay, that's not for me to say that. I'm saying it should be the same. Here's my recommendation, and you can say yes or no to it. Mm-hmm. So that's something we're working on.
Interesting. You mentioned the regulatory stuff, and I've had lots of conversations with people in North America. Is that around the whole billing thing, or is it more about the law and various standards that you have to kind of maintain? I asked the question because I'm based in the UK, you're in the US, and obviously things are very different. So just quite
Yeah.
interested to hear what the regulatory stuff looks like for you.
Yeah. It's not so much billing though that comes up. Like we don't take insurance, but even if I order lab, sometimes they want to deny the lab for whatever reason, and then we have to figure out why did they deny it. It's just extra work. Um, but the main ones would be just like the state has its regulations. Um, just as a medical facility, and then there's a laser licensing, and so they have all this stuff that they want you to do. Then there's business license and taxes and the EA, and I mean, there's like layers, and sometimes they feel like they just add stuff and like, okay, does that really benefit um, the patient? Is that really making things safer? And so yeah, it's just all those other things.
Got it. If you had a magic wand, what would be the one fix that you would fix in the business overnight? Just wave it and it's done. What would it be?
um, I would say probably consistent leads, because it does feel like something you have to work at and stay in front of, because the landscape changes so quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if I had a magic wand, I'd like, yeah, just the leads. If we just have them consistent, that would really help.
Got it. At the moment, where do most of your leads come from? I guess it's multi-channels, but where do you think most of your leads come from?
I would say we get a lot of referrals, and that's great. So we're doing more paid ads now, and so I want that to be more of where we get leads, primarily because I can predict it more. It's more predictable. But right now, I would say yes, majority referrals, and then paid ads, and then Google search, or probably last would be organic social media.
Got it. So if your clinic suddenly saw a massive influx in leads next week, I mean, would you be able to cope, or what would be the first thing that would break or feel stretched?
Ooh, that's a good question. Yeah, it actually might be follow up if it was if we got overwhelmed. It'd probably be scheduling them. I think if you said we could double, I think we could accommodate that. But yeah, first would be like just getting them scheduled, and then if that was working, then yeah, it would be like being able to provide the service in a timely fashion. So we want to do it within 7 days of a new person. So yeah, that would kind of be the next issue.
Got it. And I mean, you've been in the space for a while. If you could go back and do it all over again, and you were to start the clinic fresh tomorrow, what would you do differently?
Ooh, oh man. Probably I think I would have committed more to marketing, and looking back, I think I was nervous about it. I think when you're starting marketing or you haven't done it before, you think that you should put the dollar in and like it should immediately come back to you, and not true at all. Especially on Google, you have to figure out like what offer is going to work. You have to figure out the messaging, and then it's going to take time. As you have to be okay like not getting anything for a few months. Like you could just literally not get anything, and I didn't have that. I was like, no, let's just forget it. We're going to do something else. So I would have committed more to doing paid marketing.
I understand. And if you had a particular point, say in the last 6 months, that's been particularly difficult, where you felt stuck or unsure of what your move was going to be, if at all?
Yeah, we did have like this year we did have a couple down months, and I was like, "What is going on?" and so we I mean, we had to just make some shifts and really lean on the people that we have already. Um, Now we were getting, we're getting the leads where we normally get, but we just had to really diagnose like what's missing here. Why are we? Why is our revenue down? And it happens. Some of it's seasonal, but yeah, that was difficult. We had to really like drill down and see what the issue was.
And was there anything that particularly came to light? Did you make any discoveries or aha moments that have helped you moving forward?
Yeah, we had some internal changes. Someone had to go off, so like we had less opportunity, capacity. So that was one thing. I think that with that, the sales part. So I didn't realize how valuable that person was,
Mhm.
and so yeah, so it really showed. So okay, we had to shore up everything else. So and really I think it was hopeful because now it's something that we can specifically look at, and so it won't be something that we get caught off on around ourselves. Is like how we're interacting with people. Is we can actually measure the number and like, okay, we need to work on X, or we need to work on how we talk to people, or because we really dialed in like the whole sales process and how it works for people.
Thank you. Is there a part of your role that feels particularly heavier than it should do at the moment? Obviously, you're a clinician, you're working clinically, you're seeing patients, you have managerial responsibility for the clinic, but is there anything that's particularly a role that's heavier than it should be right now for you?
Heavy. Um, no, I mean, I feel like I'm responsible. Like I've always felt like I'm 100% responsible for everything that happens. Even if someone does something wrong, then okay, I didn't make it clear that that's the way we do it, or this is what I was looking for. Um, so yeah, I don't feel necessarily that there's undue pressure or heaviness. There's just an opportunity to address whatever the issue is. So, um, whether it's me, I wasn't clear on something, or the person's not understanding what the job is, or maybe they're just not performing, period, then that's on me to have the conversation.
Got it. And is there anything in terms of a blind spot you're currently aware of, things that might need attention, but just haven't got the bandwidth to address it yet? Because obviously there are so many different things that we do in running these things. I just wonder if there's something in the back of your mind that you've got to get around to.
No, yeah, I have a list. So,
Uh-huh.
and it's a fire that's burning. I just have to let it burn because we have other priorities. So,
Sure.
um, the one thing that I'm kind of not addressing that we need to is our website. So, um, there's little stuff, but there's a lot of little things that we need to work on. Particularly with there's this recent Google update, and so a lot of our pages got hit by that, and that's across the board. Other companies, other medical spas, they've been hit too by this. But yeah, that's certainly something that we need to address, but is not the single most important thing. So,
Of course. Of course. And where is the future for Modern Body Clinic? Where would you like to be, say, in the next sort of 12 months or so?
good question. Well, in the next 12 months, I really like to um, see that we address those, particularly the men's stuff, that we address that, and like we have a program around that, and then doing more regenerative medicine. I'd like to see us doing more of that. Particularly, I'd like it that just the difference you can see for people is profound. They don't primarily they're having some type of pain issue, and how you can just take them from here to this, like, they're functional, they can go golf now or hike or whatever the issue was, that they were just totally debilitated by before, and they tried all this other stuff that didn't work.
Got it. In terms of, are you sort of thinking about growth, expansion, more clinics, or are you just happy with or content with your operation there in Phoenix?
I'm open to expanding. I would. I mean, I'd really like to see this really dialed in, and we're almost there. But that would be something. Yeah, we'd be open to that, and yeah, that'd be interesting.
And presumably there's opportunities for things like sort of partnerships and you've already talked about other services in this space. Are those things that crop up for you in your business?
You mean partnership with other businesses or providers?
Other businesses, or I don't know, tech providers, or sponsoring particular products? I don't know how it's probably more something that happens in the US perhaps versus over here in our health service. So I'm just curious to know whether those are things that come up for you.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to develop more, at least informal partnerships. So, like, for instance, like with a yoga studio or a gym or something like that, because they're, we service the same type of people, but we're doing different things. And so, certainly, I talk to clients a lot about doing exercise and training and all that, especially with weight loss. But I'm not a trainer. I can't give you a program necessarily, or it won't be good, or I'm not good at it. So they'd be better served by doing someone that can give them a structured program. So that is something we're interested in doing, and it's on that list too.
Amazing. Mark, thank you so much for your time this afternoon. It's been a really interesting conversation talking about you and the Modern Body Clinic, some of the things that you've been trying to do, the challenges, because I think these are things we're all learning from, and I'm sure this will resonate with lots of fellow clinic owners and entrepreneurs. So thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
No, you got it. Thank you.
Thank you.